Okay, so yeah, first off, I'm not only a faculty here, I used to be a student here for 6 years. So I'm really lucky with not being able to leave this building, this complex of buildings. I really like it here. I wanted to be here for a longer time, and I'm really grateful to my colleagues and my fellow students who actually helped me remain here and I believe also thrive. I'm very happy, and this is a great place to grow and give and take. Yes, I think that's the main principle in theater, is to give and take. Yes, so today, yeah, we'll talk about theater and the AI, and well, basically how these two things interact or not really interact, try to interact, but basically are unable, and maybe there might be a good reason why they're unable to interact, and they're the best reasons in the future context. So yes, the title, yeah, and whoopsies. Sometimes that happens with all of us, right? And let's hope it doesn't happen not only with our technology, but also with our lives that are increasingly, incorporating technology. So it actually kind of, personally, it scares me a little bit that, we're becoming these androids with all of these implants. I use them a lot. I like these pieces of technology, but some other part of me, I guess my theoretical training part is reminding me, Martins, be very lucid about these things. They're great, but be lucid. So let's talk in detail about this situation. So I was asking ChatGPT the other day, so how likely do you think there will be an AI-driven apocalypse till 2100? And it responded me in 56 seconds, after 56 seconds of thoughtful thinking, that 8%. And honestly, I was pretty unhappy with this answer. Because 8%, if I were told that in the next 5 years there's a good 8% chance that the big fat asteroid will hit the Earth, I'd be pretty nervous. So thinking about our offspring and their offspring's future, this is pretty alarming. Yeah, and this the latest ChatGPT 03, so it gives this thoughtful amount of thinking. So I think we got to give props to longer and more thoughtful answers. And then it gave me a kind of spread out information how it would happen. I could go into details about it, but basically, yeah, AI just hacks into all systems, into all our devices. They do it very stealthily. Tools become weapons, tools of communication, tools of medicine, biotech. And yeah, our resources get controlled, and yeah, basically, we're wiped out. I don't want to go too much into detail about this. It's not about this. This presentation is not about this. So yeah, I come from a country filled with theaters and pagan traditions. We were occupied many times by different countries. It's also no hard feelings. We're not here to discuss the past. I see it as also a positive philosophical moment we take from the hard experiences. So yeah, this is a typical kind of a midsummer festival thing. We just perform rituals, dance, a lot of kind of strange electronic music, staying up till morning, drinking beer, dancing, and doing whatever your subconsciousness is telling you to do. And yes, I'll quickly introduce my teachers. I just thought, like, how should I link them to this topic? But, as a theater director, I think sometimes there isn't like a good reason, like, oh wow, I need to really incorporate these people with a specific kind of narrative. I just want to expose their atmosphere to you guys and just look at them and also think about me. So I come from them, from their school. So this is Mara Timele. Half of the country absolutely adores her, half of the country absolutely hates her because she is vicious in rehearsals. Her shows are very potent, very powerful, but she very often drives actors to, sometimes tears, etc. But she's one of my besties, actually. Yeah. This is Mikhail Gruzdov. He was educated in St. Petersburg, in the main acting school over there. A good story about him, he used to be a very, very potent director, and then, you know, he got sick with cancer. And there's lore in society saying that, oh, he actually completely smashed the cancer out of him with the power of thought. And he was in remission for many, many years. Unfortunately, he passed away later with cancer again, but he's a very powerful guy. I really respect him and love him. This is Elmar Senkovs. He's my first teacher's student. They taught me together, actually. And he's known for smoking extreme amounts of cigarettes in between rehearsals and during rehearsals. That's a common culture in Northern and Eastern Europe in theaters, smoking everywhere, everywhere. Toilets, cafes, stage, offstage, everywhere. So I'm a bit kind of feeling lucky that I got to live in Japan, because this culture became extinct. Actually, as I arrived here, it became extinct. It's very strange. Okay, so, and this is my fourth teacher, Dmitry Krimov. He's known for this very, very exaggerated style of kind of hyperbole theater, using a lot of giant puppets, like tiny actors, giant actors, you know, cutting out people out of cardboard to kind of generate crowds and whatnot. So he originally was a stage designer, and he kind of harnessed his knowledge to make a new kind of directing style. He is also known to have made a quite surreal portrait of the Pope St. John Paul II, and he commissioned the work for him, and then he presented it to him, and Pope's kind of associates, they were like, whoa, what the hell is this? Like, they can't like give such a surreal work here. This is not serious. And what he said is like, nolite timere ego sum, do not be afraid, it is I, echoing the same words spoken by Jesus to his apostles after the ascension. We got to give props to the late Pope St. John Paul II. And so basically, why I was talking about these directors and what they are kind of known for and some quirky things about them is because there is some kind of a strange, kind of difficult to define wit about directors and theater professionals. And when trying to like squeeze out a lot of info from AI modules, what do you think about the future of theater? How can it make us irreplaceable in the job market? It gave me all sorts of BS. I really wasn't happy with what it gave me, like very superstitious, very kind of strange things, like everybody's going to be a therapist, everybody is going to be like a creative consultant. I wasn't happy with those answers, so I decided to go my own path for this presentation. And yeah, well, I have a first question to you guys. Can you guess all the professions of Shakespeare? Yeah, what professions was he active in? Yes?
Sailor.
Sailor. I don't know, to be honest, but probably not too known as a sailor. But thank you for a good guess. Okay, yes?
Playwright.
Playwright, yes. I think he's very well known for that. What about else? What else? Yes?
Actor.
Actor, very good. Stefan, you're very knowledgeable about Shakespeare. Great.
Director.
Director. Okay, great. What else?
Did he do something with his hands?
Come again?
Like, you know, didn't he like repair something?
Probably. I think everybody was a handyman in the 16th, 17th century. So,
He's a shoemaker.
yeah. Anyone else? Yes? Poet. Yes, great. Anything else?
Everybody was cute.
Yes.
Singer.
Well, the profession of actor entitles to be a singer as well. So probably yes. Close, close. I like the word salesman.
So you're telling me he's Cuban?
Maybe some distant roots to later Cubans. Yes. Okay. He was an investor as well. Yes. So these are his professions. Everything that you just said. I'm pretty bad at reading kanji. Yes. So why are we talking about these things? Is because like there are things that we don't really know well about these personalities, but when we zoom into them, we find out like, wow, they're very, very clever, kind of gangster type of people. What they're doing is like really, really so smart, it can't be really like put in simply in a textbook about them. So, okay, so what I'm going to tell you is how to harness these things and become these figures in the apocalyptic future with AI. These two guys, as we all know, thrived in apocalyptic scenarios. Well, of course, they were, sad with difficulties. Well, they were alive and they got to fight their battles. This is, by the way, John Connor from Terminator 2, if anyone doesn't remember. He very briefly appeared, this guy, but his image really strongly like stuck in my mind. Yeah, not the other actors, but him. And Neo, yeah, from The Matrix. They both weren't happy with the fact when they found out, like, oh, this is what's going to happen, or this is what already happened. Like, but so how can we thrive in an uncertain future? So, oh, sorry. I think, sorry, a little copy of slides. Okay, let's talk about Bertolt Brecht. He's a famous German playwright, director, actor, and, you know, the typical jazz of theater people, like do all sorts of professions. So basically, he was very well known for being a guy with strong political views towards socialism. But he never, he never joined any specific political party. He rather displayed these political manifestations on stage through stage language. So what he did, he created this thing called epic theater. If normally there are actors like in their emotions and in a certain situation, he would say, look, actors, try to kind of not to do it too emotionally. Just dress up, just say what you have to say, and then talk to the audience. What do you think about this situation just happened? And then receive some answer. So basically, he believed that this kind of form makes people become more critical and more aware of what they're trying to discuss, rather than be in this kind of biased psychological situation. And so he wasn't really following any political zeitgeist, wink wink, sort of about the time that was happening in Germany. So when the Nazis decided to burn the books, it's called, I don't remember what the event is called, but there was a specific event of basically opponents of the Nazi party. All of their works were burnt. Basically the next day, Brecht and his Jewish ancestry, wife with a Jewish ancestry, they fled Germany. Which was very smart, because very shortly afterwards they declared Brecht as a public enemy of the Nazi regime, and they burnt all of his books and his plays. And he fled first to France, then he fled to US later. And in US he was pretty well known also in Hollywood. But he wasn't very happy with Hollywood. He said the actors don't think as much, and the audience also don't think as much as they should. That was what was written in his diary. And basically, he was summoned by the an organ inside the US that was checking for communist movement inside the US. And he was summoned for basically interrogation for communist, alleged communist activities. And what he did, he basically, they were presenting him with a poem and telling like, did you write this? And he said, well, I wrote a completely different poem in German. Like this poem in English is a completely different poem. And basically the people who are listening, they're like, what the hell is he saying? That's obscene. And the next day he fled US. He was on a ship to Europe. So basically, key takeaways to survive AI apocalypse by Brecht. So don't be scared to shock people in a public space or setting. It may buy you time for opportunities. And also, don't express your political beliefs with memberships, manifestos, etc. They don't age well. Use indirect means if you want to be political. Okay, next, Lee Strasberg. Lee Strasberg expanded Stanislavsky's method and altered it with a thing called method acting. And he trained many very talented actors such as Brando, De Niro, Pacino, Monroe, etc. And do you recognize this guy?
Is that the Godfather?
Yeah. Who is this from The Godfather?
The director?
No. But you're right, that's from The Godfather. Which part? Maybe
Part
somebody.
2.
Part 2, yes. That's basically Hyman Roth, Michael's arch enemy, his main, his main backstabber. So yeah, he was invited by Al Pacino, his student, to take part in this film. And he was very busy as a teacher and as a a school manager, but still he still was intact with his students, which is a very important lesson, I think. So key takeaways to survive the AI apocalypse from Lee Strasberg. Do not be scared to elaborate on or change what you have learned. Let people disagree. So basically, his students vehemently fought about his system and Konstantin Stanislavsky's system, the system from which he derived his theory. And he still stayed on his firm ground, and because he didn't change his opinion, he's a very well-respected theater director and teacher in the Western Hemisphere. Yes. And the other one is collaborate with the young ones. Only they truly know what's up today. Yes. So I think it's important to not, we're really experienced and they're not so experienced. It's important to collaborate and create together. So for me, it's super important to work with students today and to for them to lead the way. Because I can only learn about today through younger people. I don't know what the 20-year-olds know today, so especially in Japan. Next, Anton Chekhov. Very well known for being a physician and a writer. So he basically sometimes treated patients for free while funding himself with his artistic life. That's pretty gangster, I think. So he used to say, medicine is my lawful wife, literature my mistress. I think that's also pretty how to say, savage, yeah. And very psychological artist. And also, he has the second most amount of adaptations of his work in film next to Shakespeare. So that's also pretty epic. And he used 50 different pseudonyms to protect one's reputation and to test out things while writing plays. So key takeaways to survive the AI apocalypse from Anton Chekhov. Don't keep all your eggs in one basket. Just do several things. If you want to be a successful artist, be a successful doctor. Be a successful investor. And use different personas to create the most potent, safe results. Only when confident, then become public. Next, his nephew, Michael Chekhov. Stanislavsky called him a genius. But Stanislavsky later hated him when he, as Hamlet, decided to laugh during To Be or Not to Be monologue. And the audience was shocked. Stanislavsky wasn't pleased. Everybody was pissed. But he did it to experiment with his technique that later became his method. So he decided that a kind of psychological persona is linked to a specific movement. And he decided that maybe cackling Hamlet would be a fitting persona at that scene. Today, it's very normal. Like we see a laughing Hamlet during a serious scene. That's nothing big. But at that time, that was outrageous. And yeah, he saw acting as basically a spiritual training, some sort of a connection to a different world. And he also believed that acting trains intuition. I agree with these statements, but I can't really justify and explain how. I think it's something that science hasn't really grasped up until this moment. So yeah, about him. He escaped USSR in 1928 when Stalinism was rising. Then he came to Latvia, actually, where he worked for 2 years. He founded his acting school, and today we have a theater named after him. And later he went to work to Hollywood, also with Monroe, with Eastwood, and other actors. And then he got Oscar nominated for a role in Hitchcock's film called Spellbound. And yes, the infamous laughing Hamlet experiment. And the key takeaways from Chekhov: move around if you feel oppressed. If you feel, oh damn, this political situation stinks, just move. While moving around, sow seeds of lasting projects. People moved by the experience will continue the momentum. So he went to different places, but all the places that he went to have things called after him and are operating today. And don't be afraid to do something that is considered to be wrong if you have the right reasons. That's the Stanislavsky and Hamlet experiment. And last but not least, Stanislavsky, the daddy of all the actors and directors. So yeah, about him, interesting facts. His actual surname was Alexeyev, but while performing, he took his surname Stanislavsky because he had family business to take care of, and his parents said, do not mess it up. Our reputation is very important. And his parents, ironically, also ran 2 theaters. But even with that, they said, do not play with reputation. And interestingly, he co-founded the Moscow Art Theater, but beforehand, he dropped out of the main drama school in Moscow. And he thought, oh, this system just doesn't work. I don't agree with it. And so, yes, he's very well known for a very psychological acting doctrine. And he used to say, like, there are no small parts, only small actors. So sometimes people tell me, like, oh, Martins, if I'm going to participate in your performance, I'm going to play a rock. I tell them, you're going to be the best rock in this world. Because there is no simple or small role. Every role deserves enough work and attention. So, key takeaways: how to survive the AI apocalypse from Stanislavsky. If you hate school, make your own. Be meticulous about unimportant work. And yes, that's it. Thank you very much for listening and your attention. If you have any collab ideas or questions, please email me at this email. Thank you very much. Sorry, I went 1 minute over.
Thank you very much. All right, floor is open for questions.
What a great speaker you are.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate
Fantastic speaker.
it. Thank you very much.
And may I ask a personal question?
Please.
I love your hair.
Thank you.
How did you, how often do you wash?
Every day.
Every day?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm wondering. Taking a poll.
Yeah, you know, I really appreciate the compliment, but actually today was a very stressful day. I'll be very honest about this presentation. I was vehemently thinking about it for like 10 days. What the hell should I talk about? I made like this very strong title and this kind of good description, but I was like, what the hell should I talk about? And it's like when you're trying to create artwork, not everything comes like in a very linear pace and at a very planned pace. Sometimes things like just like blast out in like the last 2 days. This is what happened this time. And I don't think it's a bad thing. When I stopped beating myself up for that, I realized, hey, sometimes things just should be, you know, you should adjust to the pace that the universe is trying to give you. So I think I'm pretty happy with the content, but literally it just popped up when I was walking my dog yesterday. I was like, what the hell should I talk about? And just like these things, boom, 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 just popped up. So that's why my hair is a little bit shiny, because there's a lot of stress and a lot of...
Perfect segue.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you.
No, so you've done a lot of research. Very, very amazing speaker.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm very jealous of you because I've spoken before previously.
Oh, really?
So I'm like, oh my God, I'm not as good as you.
Well, but hey, I thought exactly the same about other speakers. I was looking at the previous speeches. I was like, what the hell should I do? Like, how can I keep up with this? So it's like, good job on keeping the standard.
Now, all of these important men that you've introduced, how would you say that they can inspire us to fight AI?
Yeah, I think the main thought is like basically be diligent, be disciplined, and operate consciousness. Whatever you do, do it consciously. When you feel like consciousness is not accompanying whatever you do, snap it back on. And it's not an easy skill to train. It really requires some daily activity or some habit. So I'd say a big one for me personally is meditation, is sports, keeping the schedule with going to sleep on time. If things shift, then shift my whole schedule. I think, yeah, well, the more I kind of try to keep myself disciplined, the more aware I become of all these kind of, you know, these parasitical habits that we have in this technological time. So short answer is really, yeah, finding a way to build strong habits that reinforce discipline. Hardship, yeah. I think that's the basic digestion of what they're trying to say and do.
So it looks like that your main reason for being concerned about the AI apocalypse is because you asked AI if there's going to be an AI apocalypse. But the question
Not
is,
only
what
that,
was the motivation for asking it?
Yeah. Well, I think the apocalypse is it was more of a kind of a, how to say, it's a serious thing, but it had like a little bit of humorous caveat, I think. So, but I think the apocalypse is now already, because we're becoming very addicted and very decentered in our daily operations, and basically we're very unhappy by these parasitical things. So I think even if a more serious thing and life-threatening thing happens, many people don't live their life today. So if we were all living in a simulation currently, then it's a shitty simulation being possessed by all this technology. So.
And I read recently our cognitive functions actually tend to shut down when we use AI often, and we become dependent on it.
Absolutely.
And our cognitive functions are shutting down.
Absolutely.
And so, is this a big reason why you've introduced so many creative and influential people in the theater space? Is this part of the?
No, for sure. It's a personal motivation. I also feel threatened by these things, and I feel negative effects by them. So that's basically that's a tool for me to improve on how I operate it on a daily basis, and maybe try to give you some ideas as well. So, yeah. Thank you. Yes.
Move back.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Since we're leaning in one direction, what about the other direction? Unless it's like a collaboration, theater AI, is that going on?
Of course, it's undeniable. I do use AI also in my production work.
Here, like doing this? Like
For sure,
AI
for sure.
innovation?
Absolutely, it's undeniable.
How do they do it for theater?
Well, I think there are many ways to do it, but you see, like building some tools for theater, it's fantastic to use AI for that. You can build visuals, you can compress text, you can summarize text, you can get ideas for text, you can even get some wonky ideas for acting, which they just don't work. But yeah, basically you can build some kind of detail for artistic expression. But the students here, they just use their craft. There are many, like this is design campus, so they all do their own craft. So my philosophy is like, do whatever you want to improve on as an artist on stage. Because theater stems from ritual art. It's a ritual, it's a form of ritual in humanity. So I believe if you bring your craft to this ritual space, it's basically sort of paying homage to these higher powers of creativity. Kind of going back to Michael Chekhov and his spirituality kind of topic in theater. So I think what I've observed is the more students think, how can I use my own media? Like, for example, I don't know, programming or mapping projections as a theater language. So the more they do that, the more they tend to harness, they kind of enter this ritual space and they exit different people with their with their craft being altered. So yeah, long story short, I'd say AI is good for details, but essence, it sucks at essence. It can't do it. Yeah.
Last question.
Yeah, I was going to say something funny. I never use AI, so what do you use it for?
Me?
No, well, everybody, like you just say it, but like I somehow skipped that kind of thing. Like,
I translate my emails to Japanese with AI. They're
well,
fantastic.
okay, that's AI, yeah, but that's some AI we have always had, like lately.
Not really.
Yeah, okay, but it's not like this ChatGPT kind of thing that you ask, ask
Like
a question. You ask the question, and like how likely it is, whatever, and the answer is like 8%. What's the data these 8% answers based on?
There are several articles published in different papers that can be read. It's just not what I was interested in this topic.
Okay, you were interested in this figure, 8%.
Yeah, it's just to kind of tickle your feet.
That doesn't tell me anything.
Sorry, we can talk about that in the after part.
Yeah, talk about
Maybe
that.
that's taking too long here.
It's a very difficult and long conversation. I just keep hearing it in the public space, that there's a good chance that we might become extinct with the AGI kind of being unleashed. And I just don't understand what it really means myself.
Yeah,
and I think people are trying to understand. That's why it's good to even, to talk about things that we don't want to accept.
Why would you threaten your race with something that you still control? Why would you do it?
But that's a different kind. They're not human race.
No, but this is the best thing. Because we created AI, why would you?
Money.
That's a short question.
What?
Last one.
We're at
What,
10 minutes. but-
Yeah.
Is it quick?
What film, what movie would you recommend that would best segue from your speech, your presentation today?
That's a tough question.
Because right now I feel like watching The Godfather a lot.
Yeah, go ahead. I've rewatched it like 8-9 times, and I can't stop.
That's amazing.
Every time it teaches me something new. It unfolds itself in a new way. So, yeah, I don't know. I think it's important to kind of keep a positive mind, also humans and technology. So, I recommend watching Interstellar, rewatching Interstellar. Yeah, it's a positive outlook on humans and tech. So I think we are building the future with how we think. So I think if we think positively, then positive things will come our way. Yeah. Thank you very much.
All right.